I'm going to give y'all the truth as far as going forward with this Letitia James case that most YouTubers aren't even mentioning. Most YouTube creators are hyping this Letitia James thing up like an arrest or a trial is right around the corner. It's not. And to be square with all my detox family, this case will probably drag out it's probably going to drag out for years. See, because the system is not built for punishment. When it's someone rich and powerful, they get caught up in legal scandals, they just don't face justice like the rest of us. Is Letitia James getting away with it, or will justice finally catch up? With that in mind and out the way, I want to recap just a few things you may or may not know about her allegations and proceedings. But first, I want to share my thoughts on how the system works for the rich versus regular folks, like most of us. See, people like Letitia James, they stall, delay, and throw legal tricks until people stop paying attention. They hire expensive lawyers to drag things out for years. They use connections and politics to make investigations move at a snail's pace. And if they don't get charged, expect watered-down punishment or dismissals. While regular folk like you and me, investigations, they're gonna happen quick, within months, not years. And if a charge comes, the court happens fast. And with no time to fight, you can't fight it because we don't have the money to fight it like a rich person do. Most people can't afford, a top lawyer, so what do? Take a plea deal. But if convicted, it's straight to serving time. No fancy loophole. Figured I'd share that with y'all. Okay, well, let's get into this video. The Letitia James case is not just about bad paperwork. It's how the powerful work the system. Regular folks like us, you and I, we just get slammed. The FBI looking into wire fraud, bank fraud, and mortgage lies tied to Letitia James with her real estate deals. And guess what? This case ain't wrapping up anytime soon. It's not like she went with joint ownership where property automatically transferred to the next person. Instead, she used the tenants in common. It's a term, tenants in common. And I've been hearing a little bit about that on the internet, so I thought I'd go over it a little bit more in depth. Well, basically what that means is that the property had to go through probate, meaning Letitia James could keep collecting rent through the estate, potentially hiding some or manipulating the financial records. Now, the investigators, if they connect the dots, she may be charged with money laundering. Let's get into this Virginia property hustle.
Actually interesting in this particular article is a document that's buried in a series of filings from Letitia James from August 17th of 2023 that has a declaration of Letitia James and the person that she bought the property with, who is acting as her power of attorney at the time, that both people were going to be or intended to make North Fork, Virginia their primary residence at the time that they were making this agreement.
See, her Virginia property she claimed was her primary residence while holding it down in New York as Attorney General. Now, why does that matter? Because calling a place your primary residence qualifies you for a better mortgage rate and tax breaks. Now, if she misrepresented her living situations, she could have pulled better financing. That's bank fraud. And this ain't just no speculation. This is straight up what the FBI is looking at. If those mortgage forms don't match reality, that's false statement, unofficial filings, and people have been locked up for way less than that. But when it comes down to a political figure, which she is, the legal system just, for some reason, just seems to move slow, and we just tend to let it go and just let it fade into a past thought. Why? Make me understand that. Leave a comment. I'm interested in hearing what y'all thinking. And it gets even messier with this Brooklyn property too. The unit count on her mortgage paperwork doesn't match what's on the ground. Let's put it that way. Why does this matter? Because banks base loans in terms on property details, meaning if you mistake how many units you have, you can qualify for a lower interest rate for better loans. So if those numbers were fudged, she basically tricked the lender into giving her a better deal. And that, my friend, is fraud. Plain and simple. See, these banks don't play when it's regular folk, like you and I. If we're up against the bank, oh no, they ain't gonna play with us. But when somebody's important, high profile, let's say like Letitia James, that's when the rules start bending. Or the bottom line, This investigation is not some throwaway headline. Listen, the FBI and the DOJ are deep in this mess, looking at decades of shady filings, but the real question isn't whether Letitia James did it. It's whether she actually will face the consequences, or is this just gonna fade into the background till the next political scandal drops. Listen.
Here it says the specific power of attorney known all men by these presents that the undersigned Letitia A. James does hereby constitute and appoint Shamise Thompson Hairston of the city of Norfolk and the state of Virginia as her attorney in fact in her name, place, and stead to undertake and do all the acts necessary to complete the purchase of the property, and it lists the address right there, but I think I'm actually going to block this out. Now it says execution of the deed of the trust in loan of an amount that should not exceed $225,000, execution of the real estate settlement Procedures Act forms, execution of the note, miscellaneous loan closing documents not to exceed $225,000, and execution of the purchase agreement and addendums with sales not to exceed $250,000. And then it follows with saying, I hereby declare that I intend to occupy this property as my principal residence.
Does that sound like fraud, team? Should this case be cut and dry? Sounds like it should be to me. What do you think will happen once it goes to trial? Will she be fined and wrist slapped? That's what I think will happen. What do y'all think, my Detox Nation? And if you believe my interpretation sits well with you, then like, subscribe, and tap that notification bell so I can keep you updated and you won't miss a thing. Hit that box in the top corner, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.